we're continuing back, and I think we are back on for good this afternoon until about a couple hours in about 2, 3 o'clock. We do know right now that we are following after a crash on I-85. That is I-85 northbound. I do believe we're going to take you to that right now. Parts of I-85 are nice. The other parts are seeing a crash. We believe that is with an 18-wheeler. Um, so we are pretty much on for good this afternoon on air. We are, of course, we don't know how much of a crash we're experiencing, but you can just see on your screen coming up at I-85 northbound at mile marker 82.3. I don't think they have Sky 4 on the way with WIFF 4 again, just because the conditions are just not okay. But again, that is a current crash at I-380 or I-85. You can see conditions just got worse over on your screen. They will continue to get worse. That camera is zooming out. Thank you, whoever is running that camera. There is parts of I-85 that are on complete lockdown. And what I mean by that is this standstill I-85 northbound at 80.6. That's the mile marker 80.6. You can just tell it is bad. Okay, there is a stop and go traffic they just had on WIFF4 if you're watching WIFF4 this afternoon. There was a 18-wheeler crash, and I think it is causing this. Of course, we will keep you updated as we learn more again. But until then, we just have a slowdown I-85, and that is, of course, due to the snow and all of that stuff. I mean, snow can be deadly. Don't get me wrong, or don't even. It can be bad. So when we urge you to get off the roads, we mean it. Now, some people may laugh and say it's just snow because snow is technically ice. You're right, but it is not good, right? So continuing coverage, right? If you stay with us here on WFIN2 News as we continue to follow this breaking news after we are live, after an alert day has continued, um, we are continuing, like we said, to follow all of this, and we are not going to stop, right? We are in it for good this afternoon. We are giving you the most accurate coverage we can. We are not going to stop because we don't need to stop, right? Let's just say that. It is just, we are definitely watching. So, if you continue to stay with us, Ken, we will be mapping out this traffic for you. So, as you can tell across the area, it it is just a wild mess out there, right? Um, as we're looking at just continued snow and more snow across our upstate, our region. So if you will stay with us all afternoon, we will continue to give you the coverage you deserve and you count on. So how much snow are we expecting? A lot. We're actually looking at the same camera as WIFF4 you're looking at right now if you're watching WIFF4. Of course, we are still following that breaking news after this 18-wheeler has. We do know there is a crash with an 18-wheeler. Of course, we're going to try to get that to you, but for right now, this is all we are able to give you. Out of that sky cam, out of this sky cam, of course, we'll take you to another one. Here a little bit closer in. This is another look. We just saw some. Okay, this is where we're looking at this 18-wheeler crash. I'm not really sure if it's a crash, but we are looking at it, and that is definitely something to watch. This is across Spartanburg County. I know it says Greenville County, but it's actually Spartanburg. But again, we're going to continue following this crash after. We want to be the best. We want to give you what we can to give you our best throughout this snow, and that's what we're going to do. So, continuing, right? If you're staying with us, continuing to follow after this 18-wheel crash, of course, our snow has just continued to snow across Greenville, Spartanburg. It has just been a wild mess, right? If you are watching us live, you know it has been quite a little mess all day long, just because the snow's been falling. It's been just all this wild stuff. So, continuing. follow. We are about 24 degrees across Greenville, Spartanburg, so feeling that coldness, right? Just as cold as we can get, just continuing to stay cold. So if you are watching us live, just remember that, hey, we're just cold and frigid and all the things. Let's take you to our area's forecast for you as we are staying nice and snowy. I wish I could say snow nice and dry, but we're not nice and dry. That is a fact there for you. Not gonna stay dry. Not gonna stay nice either. Drivers across along the upstate are continuing to slow down. I mean, and it is definitely something to watch. We are going to be out and about this afternoon with our team here on four wheelers, whatever we have to be on to give you a look at our roadways. We are going to be actually taking you outside in just a little bit. So, if you will, of course, we're going to stay on air. So, if you will stay with us, we're going to be on air. Now, we're not going to be speaking because we will be out of the studio um just due to just we need to get outside. Sorry, we had a little break for you there. But of course, we are going to be continuing. We're going to leave it on the radar here because it is as important, right? We need to be aware of what's happening. It may not look like it's much, but once this freezes over and comes back, not only comes back, but tomorrow and the next several days, it's going to get even worse somewhat. So we're going to actually take you. You saw in that sky cam of how bad the roads have been getting. Of course, we're gonna have the radar on one side, and of course, um, radar on one side, and then of course we're gonna have on the right hand side of your screen, we're gonna have the Skycam network because we are committed to you here. We're actually gonna get out on those roads. Fortunately, we have good equipment like four wheelers and stuff like that to continue to if drivers are trying to go around this, let me just say, friends, it's not ideal. We're going to bring you to the front of that crash for you. Drivers think they can go around. Don't do that if you are in this system. Or in this little path of snow, ice. Please don't go around, okay? It is, I wouldn't say, it's kind of deadly, okay? We're going to leave it on that camera that is just on your screen, and we're going to be off air for a little bit. So if you stay with WFIN2 News, as we are going off air again for just a little bit to get some video, and of course we will be back. So, if you are coming on live in just a little bit and you wonder where to go, well, let me just say we are, like we said, we are going out and about in the upstate today. Just for about 5 or 10 minutes, we'll be gone to give you a look at our roads here around the studio. Again, you're watching I-85 northbound. That is where we're seeing that crash with an 18-wheeler. We will be back. So if you're joining us and you're wondering where do we go, check in that chat. We'll be back. Again, thank you. Yeah, we're back here. Thank you for continuing to stay with us. We really appreciate that. We have gotten some video of the roads. We only could get 7 seconds due to our camera was not really working, unfortunately. But we're gonna show you our road conditions. Um, because this is on side roads out here in the country, so some of them roads looking okay. Now that does not mean that, hey, let's go outside, let's play willy-nilly, let's go out there and, let's not go ride around. I mean, it's you need to be very careful on what you're doing in the snow for sure, because it can be a part deadly, because you're riding out around. And so we're just gonna take you to a video we got here on our four-wheeler here on WFIN, as we are going to continue the snow coverage because it is important, right? It's important to stay with the snow coverage because snow can be somewhat deadly. They were looking at which y'all were looking at why we were gone, our split view showing that, hey, some of the upstate may be looking somewhat, that crash is still, it looks like drivers may be able to get around it. Not sure about that though, but of course we're gonna take you to that. But let's take a look right now at our road conditions. Yeah, here we go. Um, you can see some of that snow is. Oh, sorry, I start that over for you. You just had all this commotion, but you can see it's a little bit slower. But you can see that snow is still falling. Excuse me, and we do know that. You can see some of the roads look okay, but there are parts in the shaded parts. Of course, the sun is not out and it's not coming out today, but 36 is also not our right temperature. So you can tell some of those roads look okay, some of them are not. So of course, we're going to continue to keep you up to date on what we're seeing. Now, we do know there's a lot more slowdowns happening across the upstate. There are multiple slowdowns, of course. So we do know there also a car crash that ended up on the side of the road um, across some of the area. And we do know there is a camera of Fountain and Simpsonville camera, which is down. Of course, that happens. I mean, things go down, okay? So this is they're going to take you to the front of that crash with that 18-wheeler if we can. Here we are. Um, we looked at that. Here is the same crash, but a little bit bigger. You can see I-85 northbound is where we're watching. Of course, the Greenville Police Department is issuing that you stay, or Greenville County Police Department, stay off the roads, because it is definitely an issue, right? Because if you're out on those roads, it could get worse. That is, look at I-85 northbound in Spartanburg or Greenville County. I think that's on the Greenville County side. You can just tell that road conditions are not the best. So we have been seeing those same drivers in that same position pretty much on this northbound side of the road for at least 10 to 15 minutes, if not longer. That is just how bad it's, and people think they can go around it. Do not try that, okay? Going around it is just going to make it worse, okay? Worse than it already is. So, of course, what we do know is that, hey, we do have road work crews and people like that assisting that 18-wheeler that I believe was a 18-wheeler crash. Again, still going to continue to follow this as we're under an alert. But I would expect by the end of the week for us to get back in impact mode, and then of course tapering off. But still looking at that system, right? Still looking at how we're looking across the upstate. Just interesting to watch. As will it get worse? Will it get better? That's what everybody's wondering right now. Um, will it get worse? Will it get better? Like, what are we looking at? But of course, we have no certainty of what we are going. I mean, we're just going to give you what we can give you, and that's about that it. So, I'm gonna show you, of course, like our a little bit diver, a deep dive into our radar as temperatures, conditions, they're all kind of in that right boat, right? Our systems across the upstate, as we just got an ad on the thing. How awesome is that? Okay, looking at this, I'm looking at our bands, more of the heavier snow getting into Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson. That's where those heavier bands are. Now, I can't give you a 3D radar, unfortunately, but that's what we're looking at. Now, so getting on about that's right now. So, getting into about 1 o'clock, which is in the next 30 minutes to an hour, we're seeing it start to lighten up across western North Carolina, Asheville, all those areas, Shelby, Tryon, potentially, but then it kind of shifts back. But then we start seeing Greenville County by 1 o'clock, which that is not that right timing. Oh, excuse me. So about 1:45, we start lightening up. Then of course it will come back. So we're still going to continue to follow that system. Well, let's take you back to what we're looking at. This crash. There's still the 18-wheeler is still on the road. Of course, we are going to continue to follow this because it is something to watch, right? Um, as the 18-wheeler is down on I-85. What we're looking at, I do believe, yes, I-85. That is mile marker 480 or 81.7. You can see it looks like there is a police presence. It does look like, yes, assisting this 18-wheeler that is somewhat in a crash. But we're still going to continue to follow about how we are looking at, and but let's continue to follow our news and stuff like that across the area, as we're not just watching the storm. We still have other things going on today, like we're still following breaking news across the area, so we're not completely in the weather. I mean, we're still weathering the storm, but we're gonna continue to bring you news and weather that we depend on across the upstate. We do know, obviously, there is a crash on I-85 northbound. If you've been watching News 4 WIFF4, you've been seeing that they have had team coverage all day long, and you can see it has been nice to see that they've been having a snowman competition. Will we be having that here in WFIN? No, because we're not going to be doing that, but we have been issued a winter or extreme cold warning. Now, we have still been continuing to follow after school districts um, have been, school districts have been continuing to set on their closings list, send it out. Um, we do know that Greenwood County, I do believe, they are Monday. Looks like yes, Monday is e-learning for Greenwood County Schools, as well as Lawrence County Schools, Lawrence District, Lawrence District Schools. They are also Monday e-learning. Of course, that is the current list we know right now. Of course, Greenville County and other areas have not sent in a report if they have any. That is the updated list. Again, subject is to change. So, of course, we're still watching that crash on I-85 near mile marker 81.7. That is what we're watching right now. But, excuse me, I don't know why that decided to go out for us. But that is our current e-learning list. Of course, you can stay up to date if you have our app. Um, we definitely encourage you to use our app if you have it. It is definitely saves you time if you can't join our live streams. But it is good to know. So, we're still watching closings, e-learning, churches, all of those things. Of course, we'll give you the updated list on churches and stuff like that across the area. But right now, that is the latest list of our churches or our schools with e-learning. across the upstate. Again, we will be back once we come back from a break. Yeah, we are back, continuing to follow today after snow and all that is not even just likely, it's here. I know it's everybody's been kind of watching, seeing is snow likely? Yes, there are, right? There are snow and all that in our area, and they are continuing to stay in our area, right? So if you are still following, maybe what are we gonna see today? If you're still not waking up good and seeing what's we've been seeing out of our upstate wide. Today is January 1st, so that is good to know that we are still kind of getting into the month of January and almost into February, and yeah. So we do know obviously there is that slow crash on I-85 northbound. Of course, we're going to continue to give you that. And again, we are following after road conditions are not best. Excuse me, sorry, I don't know how that got there. But of course, we are still following after road conditions are not the best. And again, we are going to continue to follow after that sky cam is showing us that yes, there still is that slowdown on I-85 northbound. That's mile marker 81.7. So again, it's kind of a hit or miss. What we see, some areas are actually getting a little break right now. We are looking at 29 people in the upstate are without power. So I know we have been following the excuse me, we've been following it's we've been following the power outages across the upstate today. We do know that as of right now, of course, those power outages are now up to 20 across the or 20 plus across the upstate. You can see across our outage map, thanks to Duke Energy, we are looking at 5 down towards the Terry's Park Road. That is around the area of excuse me, that is around the area of Lawrence and Wattsville. We know there's 5 people without power. They are en route, but they are unknown at this time of why there are. But we are assuming it is due to the snow. Because if you were to look out, you looked out of our sky cam, you could see it is snowing and snowing and snowing, right? So, continuing. Now, following the Spartanburg area, that is, of course, down near downtown Spartanburg, near the Conver Heights area, Union Street. There are 6 people without power, and that is, of course, unknown. But take a wild guess. if you know that it's snowing outside, we can pretty much predict that, hey, since it's snowing, we are assuming that, hey, it's because of our snow, you know? So, if you are wanting to follow our current outages across our upstate, you can follow the current school outage, school closings, as we're still following all of the school closings as of right now. We do know that Greenwood County Schools, they announced their that Monday, we announced that Monday, February 2nd, will be e-learning day. Of course, although we're still following that, we're still following our school closings, our outages, back to e-learning on your screen. So if you have our app, please feel free to use our app. If you don't know how to get our app, we're going to try to find the QR code and try to get it on your screen, if we can. But if not, go to our YouTube Shorts page. You will, of course, see the YouTube Shorts page. That will be on YouTube, which, if you find the shorts, um, so, if you are wondering about our school closings that are on your screen, Lawrence County has announced that they will be having school or their meals and their devices and e-learning content will go home on Friday. This was yesterday. They do need Lawrence County 55, based on the National Weather Service, have forecasted for a wintry mix. So students will be taking home their meal, which I'm sure they have a packed meal. We're not sure about that, but I'm sure they have a packed meal that they've been taking home, which is amazing because some students may not have food at home over this break. That some are, some may have food insecurities. So the ability that thankfully Lawrence County Schools is conducting with their e-learning, they're making sure that all students get that, right? So thank you for, if you're just joining us, on your screen is our current e-learning list. Now, if you go to our app, if you have our app, make sure there is a scrolling ticker at the bottom of our closings to show. There also is a full list, but if you want to see kind of an updated list, Lawrence County, all of that stuff, Clemson University now. Well, of course, we're going to take you back to that Skycam. So if you're watching us live, wherever you're watching us live from, we are following a crash on I-85 northbound. That is on your screen. That's near Spartanburg, as we are following after a 18-wheeler has reported to be crashed. We are seeing they are kind of getting a little bit further. Looks like ambulances may be on scene. Of course, that's really much all we can give you for right now with that Skycam, but still a bit more slow traffic across the upstate. Um, so Clemson University, of course, they've been stating that they will be e-learning for most of their students as well. If you're looking at the ticker at the bottom of our app under the e-learning page, you will be able to tell that it says Lawrence County and then of course Clemson University. Um, but but obviously we are still unsure about other school districts. If you may be wondering, Furman University students are currently having fun. If you are able to watch WIFF News 4, if you live in the upstate, that is good to know because they, of course, are going to if you're watching WIFF News 4 live, you'll see they are in Furman University talking, and some of them people are having a good old time. So, of course, our closing department on our app at WFIN2 News. We do have a snow day, only obviously that, but you will be able to see all that. We like, of course, our crash that we were watching across the upstate. So, if we ask that you do one favor, if you do not have our app, we are going to get you the QR code. All you have to do, if you will stay with us for momentarily, if you're watching live, thank you. But if you'll stay with us momentarily, if you do not have our app, um, we will have the QR code on your screen in just a second. All you have to do is open your phone's camera, click on that link, and at the bottom of your screen, if you have an iPhone, there will be three dots. and it'll say share. And you all you have to do is click share and click add to home screen, and then of course click add, and then go to your home screen and open the app. Once you open the app, it will be asked to send you push notifications, and of course we do ask that you use those push notifications because it is important, right? So we can get to you as fast as we can. So do that as soon as we get it on your screen momentarily. But continuing to follow snow, ice, all the above, we'll take you to another Skycam momentarily. But we're getting you that QR code now. So like we said, all you have to do is open that WFIN2 News mobile app and scan, or excuse me, if you don't have it, open your phone, open the camera. If you have Android, it will probably redirect you to Google Chrome. All you have to do from there is once you're in Google Chrome, all you have to do is there should be like three dots to the top right, and it will say download or add to home screen, whatever it says for you and your phone. Do that. Of course, here is the QR code on your screen in just a second. So we urge you to download our app, enable those push notifications, cause it is definitely something to know. And you can see there are, if you're watching WIFF4, there are people doing donuts in the middle of the road. Right? That is definitely, please be careful if you do that. That could cause a crash. So, if you are doing that, please be aware to stay careful. Okay, the rough road conditions are, of course, in place. We are continuing to follow after the crash on I-85, but people are having a good time. We urge you to stay safe, stay out of those roadways if you can, because you may not think it's deadly, but trust me, it will get deadly. We've seen it happen. Highway Patrol has been urging you to stay off those roads. You saw, if you were watching WIFF4 live, you were able to see that they had someone doing a donut in the middle of the road. If you at least do that, please use with extreme caution. You can see on your screen I-85 southbound that is about to come on your screen. We're giving you a minute to download that app if you don't have it. I-85 southbound. That is in Spark or Greenville County. You can see on your screen there is very limited visibility. Now that is a camera, but still, even if you have windshield wipers, even if whatever you're doing on the roads, if you're in that area, we urge you, please get off those roadways if you can. I know it may seem fun and games to be like your friends and get out there and have a good time. Please have a good time, but if you can, stay off those roadways because it will get bad. We have looked at the extended day forecast or extended hour forecast. We've seen it's supposed to get down into the teens tonight. You've even saw with our own team here on these back roads. I mean, there are still conditions are okay, but they will get a little bit worse. But of course, we ask that you please stay off those roads if you can, because they will get deadly. Um, they will for sure get deadly. That is again, I look at I-85 southbound. If you have our app, expect to see a notification for us in just a second from us. Excuse me, we're going to be letting you know all of that. So, if you are in, so we just sent out a notification that said that, hey, there's a crash on I-85 southbound, or excuse me, northbound, I do believe, but please stay off those roadways, okay? We're going to ask you every time we come on air. I know it's probably going to get annoying to you, but if you stay off those roadways, it will benefit you because think those roads, they look like they're okay, they look like they're safe. Let me just tell you, friend, they are not safe. There's still a slowdown on I-85 northbound. That's what we just sent out the notification about, the slow traffic. So, of course, if you're watching WIFF4, there are police cars coming down the road because they are urging drivers to stay off the roads. If you can, across Gaffney, Higgins County, please, we urge you to stay off those roads. we would try to get you. We're gonna maybe possibly try to get you on our studio Skycam if we can, but still, stay off those roads. Make sure you're staying safe. Again, we're going to actually take you to another look with our Skycam network across Gaffney. We're covering Gaffney, we're covering the upstate. In the community is what we are, and we always make sure that we try to give you the front lines. Now, this is a look at I-26 eastbound. Now, normally, I'm not sure, I think I-26 is only 2 lanes, but still, it is deadly. Please make sure you are safe, you're staying off those roads if you can, because they can be bad. Um, this of course I-26 eastbound. That looks okay. Drivers are going pretty fast, but let me tell you, if you're using a tractor trailer, anything like that, anything pulling a trailer, it will jackknife. It will do all the things. You may think it's okay at first, and then you're slipping and sliding across those roads, and then it turns into deadly, right? So please, we don't want to have to. I know officers, they already getting called to enough calls. Of course, we have those winter storms issued. We're going to continue, like we said. Drivers, you can see thank you to those drivers who are coming on this northbound lane. They are going using caution. Please, that's what we ask you to do. Here at WFIN, we are continuing to follow breaking news. Just because the snow, the ice, all the things, but we are continuing to ask. Please stay off those roadways if you can. Stay off the roadways. They will, they can. There are no ifs, and, or buts about it. They will be deadly. You may think it's okay one moment, next moment is completely jackknifing your trailer, causing all the things. So, of course, we're going to be back. We're going to go on a small little break, and of course, we're going to be actually on air, on camera, showing you what we're looking at. We'll be right back. We're back. Thank you for joining us. We are still continuing to follow after the snow, the ice, all the things, all of it's coming into our upstate. We're just making sure that you are safe and you are getting all the things you need to stay safe, stay out of the roadways. Because trust me, it looks like it's okay to be driving in. You may be like, oh, that's a piece of cake. Well, let's just say it's a piece of cake until you get on those roads, and then you're like, oh my goodness, maybe I should have listened to WFIN, because it's just going to get worse, it's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. So, just please make sure that if we ask you to stay off those roads, you stay off those roads, because We have seen drivers who have been doing donuts in the road. We've been seeing drivers sliding on the roads. Trust me, it is not fun, okay? Unless you want to end up in the hospital or in jail, whatever, I don't know. Please, just we urge you to stay off those roadways. We are going to be, of course, giving you a live look at what we're looking at across the upstate. Um, so, we're going to take you to our weather center as it's continuing to be. Okay, we are going to take you to just a moment here. We're going to take you to our alert day as still following that. Of course, we're going to be showing you everything we can show you from here in our upstate. So give us moments, and of course, we're going to be showing you this camera. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, moments, and we'll be right back with that, showing you that in just a second. So, continue. Like we asked you, please stay off those roadways if you can help it. Of course, let's take you to our area's accurate forecast. Here we go. Let's take you in, diving into what's kind of happening across the upstate. We are looking. Okay, the screen is kind of. Sorry. Here we are. Let's take we're now. So we're still following an alert day or an alert mode, alert hour, all those things. We're still continuing to follow that. So our alert, when you see this icon, that means alert. That means hey, if you're watching this, whatever you're doing, please make sure that hey, if you ever see. Sorry guys, you may not notice. There we go. Okay. So if you ever see that icon for make sure that you know, hey, that's our alert. We usually put a little text next to it that says alert, whatever. But still, when next time you see that, you make sure you know that hey, this is our alert day, alert hour, all the things. So let's take you into our radar as pinpointing this area across the upstate as it's loading in. Um, there is still watch areas across Greenville, Spartanburg. That snow is still in our area, panning in a little bit closer. Now, it definitely looks like it's rain. This green is not rain, okay? It's not rain, okay? I know we had to clarify for you, but it is not rain, okay? So, what is it? Obviously, it's snow, but I'm going to try to get you a little bit closer on action here. Um, Sorry, guys, for the inconvenience. Okay, think we got it. Good, perfect. Okay, so obviously it is snow. It is snow from Greenville, Spartanburg. Now you can see this little dome. This is where the Doppler radar is. We're actually going to draw it out for you. This dome in the blue, that is the Doppler radar site. That's the little flakes around it are not just snow, it's also satellite frequencies that it picks up. So, think we're good. Think we got it good on the camera. Okay, so this is our paid weather app. It's called Radar Omega. Okay, we pay for this weather app. So it kind of gives us different little things. So we're gonna take you to a radar more towards our, um, excuse me, more towards our multi-radar software. So this showing that hey, the gray is kind of different little areas of snow. Now we're still following after the heavy snow, right? Expires in an hour. Would I really say it expires in an hour? No, not exactly. So make sure if you are in the path of the snow, but you're watching it because it expires in an hour. But will it still, of course, will it still be a band of area to watch? Yes. So kind of gonna make a little box for you. This is kind of the excuse me. This is kind of the radius we are watching of this storm. We're gonna kind of we're gonna put it in red. So if you guys can see, if you're watching live, here in the Weather Center, this red box we're about to put on your screen. That may help you a little bit. This is our forecasted area, okay? Will it shift? Yes, it will certainly shift, okay? Just putting it in play for there a moment. So it kind of shifts and it kind of turns a little bit and goes towards our north, towards North Carolina. But there's different models show different things. If you open up to My Radar, we we use our paid weather app and then we use other different little radar sites. Okay, this one shows ads at the bottom of the screen. No, it's just amazing. But showing that it kind of looks a little different. This obviously is snow, but it looks a little more funny. Now we do have a high pressure system. If you're watching this high pressure, we do have a little bit of mix of high and low pressure. This is mainly high pressure. Now, usually when we have something like this, we have low pressure comes in first. It brings us these systems. Okay. Now, moving off into different areas. So, across Greenwood, Birmingham, Alabama, all of these places, they are still left, even though the snow is kind of out of their area, they're still left with county outages infecting 300 people. Now, we're not expecting, we are watching, obviously, but are we expecting that much outages? It's kind of hard to tell at this time. From our areas, sky cams and stuff, it's very hard to tell, okay? Very hard, okay? So as of right now, of course, we're still watching this satellite view of kind of how we are. We are 24 across Greenville, 23 Spartanburg, and of course staying in this kind of pressure. Anderson, we're looking at 25. So kind of wherever you go across the upstate, you're going to feel a little bit warmer. You're going to feel a little bit colder. It's just, we're going to get pretty cold tonight. So maybe wondering, how cold are we expecting to get? Yeah, that's definitely what we've been watching over the last while here. We are expected to get pretty cold, okay, on your screen. See if we can get a little bit closer to our radars and stuff. That may be working for us. Possibly. Stay. Okay, I think we're good. There we go. But, continuing to watch. 20s across the upstate. Now, 14, the teens, I'm sorry, we're still on alert, but our teens feeling like across parts of Asheville, Hendersonville, so that's kind of what the feel is. But of course, Greenville, Spartanburg. If you're in this upper area, you're going to feel about the mid 20s. Now, of course, you're going to add on a little bit. Just looks like an acorn, right? That's our acorn of temperatures, acorns of pressure, all the things. The acorns of temperature, right? Like we said. So we kind of getting into the kind of getting into our composite, like a little bit different radar that kind of shows a little bit different look, a little bit feel. Just all this is snow, right? Of course, cold as it is. We don't need to get any colder. Turning in that high definition forecast. So, of course, we're going to be showing you all of the future radar, all the things. We're not seeing, of course, like there's different things that it will tell you. Sometimes it looks like it has all these cool features that we use, of course, with the fronts and all that. But some things make it look like we're gonna maybe see some snow. It all just kind of works together hand in hand. But across the upstate, we're gonna feel that snow. Okay, each radar looks a little bit different. Still in our alert. Now, even if you open up to your iPad, your iPhone, whatever you use, still, if you use that main weather app, weather app still works. Okay, it still gives you news and weather, but getting a little bit closer, so you can see here at home, the next 12 hours are gonna look like this. Okay, um, so we're gonna kind of get you right now. Right now, it is currently 12:57, so about Saturday here about noon. So right now we're feeling the snow, the rain, 25 degrees in Greenville. So that 19 in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So it kind of varies per elevation changes. Whatever you do, wherever you go, it just gets colder, it gets warmer, all the things. Okay, pressing play here in the upstate over next. I would expect today this is right now, so all of the upstate is seeing this. Now, I would expect by 7 o'clock you can see it's starting to wear off. That is sort of good news. Five Forks Simpsonville Fountain Inn. That is wearing off. That front is moving out. So, of course, it is good to see it's moving out, but I know some people love the snow just like I do, okay? I don't want it to go away. But, of course, we have to watch it at its full extent and make sure that, hey, what we're tracking is right. Make sure that we're giving you our best. So, continuing to about the night. So you see by on the bottom of your screen, it is showing that we're about right now. So past now, we're still kind of mixed feelings. Okay. Of course, we're going to keep you up to date with this all afternoon as we go. But for now, that's the latest check on our alert day weather. Back to the studio. Yeah, thank you guys for thank you for you all watching. We're still, like we said, continuing to track the snow, tracking full extent. Still looking at I-85. Gosh, I-85 southbound has been a little booger today. Definitely been a booger. But we want to thank you for watching WFIN 2 News right now. At our noon forecast, of course, we will be back. Don't feel like we're not going to be back. We're going to be back later on today as the grounds are getting covered. So much is happening. We'll have this full list at our sky cams and so much more. We thank you for watching right now. We'll be back. See ya.